Good morning. Aloha. Hey, you know, we're going to have a luau today. Actually, it's not a luau. It's a Hawaiian-themed brunch is what it is. Because, well, we do have pulled pork. Okay, well, in that case, just imagine that it came out of the ground in the back. Okay?
For 12 hours.
And been, yeah, it was in the ground for whenever, and yeah, that works.
In the middle of the labyrinth like that?
Just imagine it. Just imagine it. All right, you probably have your new calendar. Thank you very much, Marianne. Mary Lou. And of course, this coming Friday is National Trail Mix Day. Don't miss that. That's important stuff. So, summer dialogues. Josie's going to do another summer dialogue on Wednesday. And then ARE meets on Thursday. And then you have the calendar for next month with a something on the back that Janice said and wrote. So, we do have a couple patron saints by the name of George Carlin and John Lennon. And John said, all we are saying is give peace a chance. Simple words to live by. And George, I think everyone should treat one another in a Christian manner. I will not, however, be responsible for the consequences. We and he were an equal opportunity offender. So, all right. We received 3 educations, one from our parents, one from our schoolmasters, and one from the world. The third contradicts all that the first 2 teach us.
That's right.
A variety of nothing is superior to a monotony of something. Yeah. Won't you come into the garden? I would like my roses to see you. The average man who does not know what to do with his life wants another one which will last forever. I have to think about him for a while. And it's like, okay. I get it, Phil. So, oh, yeah. Frasier. I used to like that show. It was a good show. Kelsey Grammer sings and plays the piano for the theme song. So, some of you probably knew that. And courage consists not in blindly overlooking danger, but in seeing and conquering it. Oh, more t-shirts. And if you ever want to look at these, I have a number of them crossed out because I can't say them, but they're still pretty dang funny. So, if I say I will do it, I will do it. No need to remind me every 6 months. I can't believe how old people are my age. That's just the weirdest thing, but it's true. Oh, and one more grandparents things. My grandparents are funny. When they bend over, you hear gas leaks and they blame it on their dog. And yep. Okay, thank you. Ooh, my goodness. Wow. You know, I don't even know what all of those are.
Zinnias, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what those are.
I don't either.
What are these? Snapdragons?
Oh, they are snapdragons.
They're ruffly.
They are ruffly. Wow. Nice.
No, this is holy wow.
Holy wow. Oh, okay. An overnight business associate of mine decided it was time to shed some excess pounds. He took his new diet seriously, even changing his driving route to avoid his favorite bakery. One morning, however, he arrived at work carrying a gigantic coffee cake. We all scolded him, but he smiled and remained little cherub-like. So, this is very special coffee cake, he explained. I accidentally drove by the bakery this morning, and there in the window was a host of goodies. I felt this was no accident, so I prayed, Lord, if you want me to have one of those delicious coffee cakes, let me find a parking space right in front of the bakery. And sure enough, he continued, the 8th time around the block, there it was. All right. So, we're going to eat today, have fun, and all that kind of stuff.
Lots of food.
Yep. And next month is our annual picnic, which we still don't have a date for. So
Yeah, just worked on it.
we are working on it. Yes, we are. So, but I do have a song that will start the day off right for our Hawaiian theme. We're going to do Don Ho and no, we're not.
Yes, I'm sure. Thank you for asking. Let's all just cough and get it over with. I need one too. Good morning, everyone. Some of you snuck in when I wasn't looking. So, hello. I'm going to rearrange my stuff here just a sec. There we are. So our message today is the Aloha spirit. You may not know this. I did not know this. But in Hawaii, the Aloha spirit is so important to them that they have it written in their laws. It is the law for Hawaii to have the Aloha spirit. I'll read you part of the text here in a minute. Basically, it's more than just a word or greeting. Feedback? I'm feeling feedback again. Phil? Feedback?
I know I'm playing with it.
Oh, okay. All right. It means a mutual Okay, let's just shift. Don't mind me. I'm going to move this around a little bit. Then it was fine until we added that other thing. That's okay. Adapt. It's the law of impermanence. Just when you think everything's normal or it's going to be the way it is, things change. So aloha means mutual regard and affection and extends warmth and caring with no obligation in return. Wow, that's like pretty miraculous in and of itself, isn't it? It is the essence of relationships in which each person is important to every other person for a collective existence. Don't you love that? Isn't that beautiful? Aloha means to hear what is not said and to see what cannot be seen and to know the unknowable. I think that's a pretty important thing, don't you think? So I'm going to read you the full text, or not the whole text, but part of the text of the Aloha Spirit Law, as it is in Hawaiian Law Book. The Aloha Spirit is the coordination of mind and heart within each person. It brings each person to the self. Each person must think and emote good feelings to others. In the contemplation and presence of the life force, Aloha, the following Hawaiian words I can't pronounce, so I don't want to slaughter them, may be used. And here are the words. I'll spell them. AKA, HAI, meaning kindness to be expressed with tenderness. LO with a KAHI, meaning unity to be expressed with harmony. OLU, apostrophe, backwards apostrophe, OLU, meaning agreeable to be expressed with pleasantness. How nice is that? And then HAHA, meaning humility, to be expressed with modesty. And the last one, AHUNUI, meaning patience, to be expressed with perseverance. It would have been nice to have Andrea here. She speaks and can say these. So we may have her, she's out of country right now, so we may have her back and give us the exact pronunciation. So it's tenderness, harmony, pleasantness, modesty, and perseverance. These are traits of character that express charm, warmth, and sincerity of Hawaii's people. It is the working philosophy of the native Hawaiians and was presented as a gift to the people of Hawaii. So basically, it is think and emit good feelings towards others. Don't you wish we had more of that in the world today? I think that would go a really long way. I want to share a Bible verse with you about that. And this Bible verse cracked me up. Because, you know, I've read this verse a million times. But when you read something and you have a different intent, you see something new that you remember haven't really ever seen before, or see it in a new way. So this is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32. I'm going to read 31 too, but it's not the real kicker. 32 is the kicker. So hang on for 32. Here's 31. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you, along with all malice. Here's the kicker. And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, just as God in Christ also has forgiven you. So here's what I got out of that. So it's like, okay, if you've got this in your life, this anger and malice and clamor and all that stuff, replace it with kindness. And lo and behold, here's this whole thing on forgiving one another. The next thing I was going to chat with you about is the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is forgiveness. I didn't know it was in the same, I knew that verse was there, but I didn't know it was attached to the kindness part. And it's irrevocably attached. They are one and the same, they go together. They're hooked together. So it is an act of kindness to be forgiving, and it is a kindness to forgive oneself. It is a kindness. And we get to be kind to ourselves and to others. So let's look at the Ho'oponopono prayer. And I want to look at this from an energetic standpoint and then from an emotional standpoint. Because you and I both know there are things in this world that are just unforgivable. And yet people are forgivable. The acts they do may not be. People are forgivable. And when we can separate the person from the act, that gives us space in which to find kindness. Now the Ho'oponopono prayer, I'm going to read it to you, and then we'll work with it. Sound good? Because there's stuff in here that I want to describe a little further. So this was written by Norma Nalamako Simeona. Andrea would know how to say that without offense. You do too?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Every consonant is long, and every vowel is long. So you just pronounce it with exactly the way it's written.
So it would be Nele, Me, Ku.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun is that? So all of the vowels are long. Cool. All right. I'm not going to try the other ones at the moment, though. Cowardice. Yes. Okay. Anyway, the Ho'oponopono prayer. Divine Creator, Father, Mother, Son as one. So you're asking for divine assistance in the forgiveness process. Okay? Sometimes that's the only thing that will work. Our human limitations restrict us. And that's okay. We have this divine assistance that's going to take it the rest of the way. So if I, my family, relatives, and ancestors have offended you, meaning whatever person you're working on forgiveness about, or maybe it's between you and God, whatever, but generally speaking, it's another person. Your family, relatives, and ancestors in thoughts, words, deeds, and actions from the beginning of our creation to the present, we ask your forgiveness. So in the Ho'oponopono prayer here, she's just asking for forgiveness for all of it. Not only you, but your ancestors. And here's why. Let this cleanse, purify, release, cut all negative memories, blocks, energies, and vibrations, and transmute these unwanted energies into pure light. Now the Hawaiians refer to this energy stuff as sticky stuff. In my one of my workshops, I have a module where we learn to read auras. We learn to see auras. And what we do is we'll have somebody stand in front of a blank wall and then have them stay there for a moment and then step aside. And their energy remains. And you can see their energy. That's the sticky stuff. That sticky stuff is, you can have a sense of it even though you're not having a sense of it. Have you ever gone to a theater and say, these seats don't feel right, and you need to move? Whoever had the seat before you, their energy vibration didn't harmonize with yours. That's why you're uncomfortable. Their sticky stuff remained. Now here's the thing. When we have an issue with someone, we're like carrying them around in our pocket. Their sticky stuff is with us. Let me tell you a story. My brother went to lunch with a neighbor, just a social thing, and he said the entire lunch she spent talking about an offense that her brother's cousin had done against her. The entire lunch. Happened years ago. And the more she talked, the less energy my brother had. He couldn't even he couldn't even change the subject because he was just so energetically drained. Because the sticky stuff, that guy's negative sticky stuff, was still stuck on her. She hadn't forgiven. Forgiveness makes you Teflon. And their negativity cannot stick. It's not about absolving them of responsibility. It's not about airy-fairy Pollyanna, oh, it's okay, it didn't matter. Yeah, it mattered. It mattered. But forgiveness is this beautiful, empowering energy that allows you to be free, that allows you to be clear, that allows that stuff just to fall away. Let me tell you another story. I had issues with my dad, let's just say. Some of you have had issues with your dads, no doubt. He died in the year 2000, and I still had issues with my dad. So the man's not even here, and I'm carrying around pain about it. So I really looked at forgiveness and allowed myself to move through a forgiveness process. And as a result of that, this beautiful freedom happened. And then the kicker, this was just the coolest thing ever. Then I was doing a Voices from Beyond. My dad shows up, oh, hi, Dad. You know, I didn't really acknowledge him because I can talk to him later. But I was talking to people in the audience. And so there was one particular person, I kept getting drawn back to black shirt, talked to him a little bit. He gave him communication with his loved one on the other side. And he says, oh, I have a picture here. I thought he was going to show me a picture of his son. And he had a picture of my dad. And he said, your dad was my best friend. And so that whole energy of me clearing, now I could see him in a new light. Because he didn't smile at home. And here was this beautiful picture of my dad smiling, laughing. And I didn't have one in my memory. Now I have one. I had to be ready. But I wasn't stuck. His negative energy, his pain, wasn't stuck to me anymore. Because, you know, people do mean things because they're in pain. It's the cycle of cruelty. Let me tell you a little bit about the cycle of cruelty. I apologize because we don't like to talk about stuff like this, but it's really important. If someone has harmed you, they may have been stuck in this cycle of cruelty. And here's what it looks like. They go along, people are in pain. But they go along and they hide it. Haha, pretty face, and then they get to the point where there's so much pain that it's got to go somewhere. And you may be the person that gets downloaded that too. And often in that cycle of pain, they download the energy and they feel great. And they're like, oh, why are you so glum? Especially if you're in the relationship with somebody long term. And what's wrong with you? You know, I'm great. Let's go to lunch. Let's have a party. And you're like, man, you just blasted me and hurt my feelings terribly, and yet now you want to be nice? No. Well, and then they go back down, and then they're dark again. So if you're seeing this highs and lows in people that are around you, it's a cycle of cruelty. Because they have had something that was cruel to their soul. Make sense? If you find yourself in that, there's no shame, no blame here. This is a cycle of cruelty because it's too much for you. You have to have something to download it to. And the people around us that we love are often the ones that we download those negative energies to. It's sad, it's true, it's the way it is. Now then you as the recipient of that, you get to either keep it or toss it. What are you going to do? I say ditch that crap. You don't need that. It's not who you are. It doesn't define you. Who are you? You are a living light of love. You're God's to-go box. And that was just somebody downloading their pain. And it may have been a horrific experience for you, but it was just their downloaded pain, and you can release that and not carry that burden with you, and you can be free of that sticky stuff. Okay? So here's the abbreviated prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Please forgive me. You're the one that downloaded that junk onto me. Okay, don't get hung up about that. Perhaps you're saying, please forgive me to your own inner child. Because for some way you were not able to protect yourself at that point. Maybe it happened yesterday and you just were dumbfounded and you didn't, out of the blue. So if you can't forgive the other person yet, forgive the inner child for being there. Okay? So I'm sorry. And let's look at that. So I'm sorry, I'm sorry that you're hurting so badly. I'm sorry I happen to be the one in the wake of your cruelty cycle. I'm sorry I'm not the person that you wanted me to be in that moment. Because a lot of times when somebody's in this cruelty cycle, they make it your fault. They set you up or wait until you're not in the best of spots, and then they can blame you and make it your fault. Oh, I didn't mean to be angry and yell at you. It's your fault if you hadn't been perfect. And you see the fallacy of that? It's their way of coping with this cycle. And it looks like a heartbeat. Blah, 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 blah. A little bit of an up and then zoom back up because they're feeling good, because they downloaded, and then they come back down and level off. Looks like a heartbeat. That's how they stay alive. So maybe your being in that spot allowed that person, whoever that cruel person was that attacked you in a cruel way, maybe you were what granted them survival in the moment. So bless yourself for that. Bless yourself for that. The thank you. Thank you, I love you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to my attention so that I can see who I really am. So I can look at this. Because if you're really looking at this and you see, this is not my stuff, how beautiful is that? How powerful is that? And then I love you. Well, there's lots of energy in the word I love you. I love you grants you freedom. And you can love the spirit of that person. Remember we talked about spirit and soul are intertwined? We talked about that last week. And how the spirit is that divine essence, that divine connection with divine source, that's imperturbable, cannot be damaged, is pure and whole and abides in peace at all times. You can love that. Even if they can't find it at this moment, you can love that because it's there. If they're breathing, it's there. They may have covered it up with a lot of pain and sorrow and discomfort, and that may be what you see. But there's more. There's more. And you, as being an aware human being, can perceive that, can acknowledge that, and recognize that, even if they cannot. So as I was looking this up, there was a website that showed how to use the Ho'oponopono prayer, the 4 steps to help you with that. Let's do the 4 steps, shall we? Step 1 is who and what. I want to forgive, fill in the blank, and what you want to forgive them for. So is there somebody in your heart and your mind that you're carrying the sticky stuff of pain about? Let's do this. Let's do this. I want to forgive, insert their name, for, and whatever you want to forgive them for. Maybe something they did or some misunderstanding, whatever. Number 2, release possible blocks. I now choose to release my feelings of, what are you feeling? Resentment, bitterness, fear, anguish, lack of self-worth. What are you feeling? I now choose, that's a divine gift given to you, is the ability to choose. I now choose to release my feelings of, give you a minute to fill that blank in. And number 3, benefits. I acknowledge that forgiving this situation will benefit me as I will feel, what will you feel? I will feel free, I will feel relaxed, I will feel whole, I'll feel joyful, I'll feel at peace. So, I acknowledge that forgiving this situation will benefit me as I will feel and number 4, commitment. I commit myself to forgiving whoever this person was, and I accept the peace and freedom which forgiveness brings. And it was suggested to, do that for a time frame. Because like it says, it's forgiving. I found it interesting in our Bible verses, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving each other, not forgive, but forgiving, ongoing. Might take a day or two, might take a week or two. So do 7 days, do 21 days, whatever. If I could, just with a magic wand, come down and ting each one of you so you could be free of the pain that other people have bestowed upon you, I wish I could. But this can do it. This can do it if you choose to do it for yourself. This can release you and dismiss all that sticky stuff so that you're just Teflon and it does not attach to you ever again. Then it says that you might want to build a forgiveness declaration by combining the sentences you created above. So here's an example that they gave in this website. I want to forgive my father for not loving me enough. I now choose to release my feelings of anger, disappointment, and resentment. I acknowledge that forgiveness benefits me as I will feel free, loving, and more alive. I commit myself to forgiving my father and accept the peace and freedom which forgiveness brings. Powerful stuff. Hanging on to old pain is a choice. Letting go is a choice. And it can be effortless. Doesn't mean that there's not energy attached to that. Doesn't mean that there's not energy applied to that. But it can be without agony. It's far more agonizing to carry around the suffering. And how wonderful would it be to be free of that suffering? Would it not? You don't have to worry about remembering all of that. I have a handout. Don't you love it? I should have told you ahead of time because some people will probably take notes anyway. Yeah, go ahead. She can take half. Give her half and then she, there you go. Make that quick. So the aloha spirit is a little different than the ho'oponopono, but they go together. Remember, the aloha spirit is this mutual regard and affection. Kindness. Be kind. And be kind to yourself in allowing yourself to forgive. Now we get hung up on that word. I know we're talking now and got papers going on, so I've lost you. Instead of using the word forgive, what if you use the word release? Instead of the word forgive, what if you use the phrase bestow freedom? We get hung up on that word because we think that word means that we're going to absolve that other person of responsibility. It's not your job to hold them responsible. You're carrying a lot of energy. I carry a lot of energy when I think I must hold them accountable for what they've done. I hate to tell you, they're clueless. They're off living their lives. They probably don't even remember the insult or injury they gave you. And you're carrying it in your hip pocket? No. We're free of that. We did this process. How do you feel after the process? Better? Much better. So allow yourself the power of choice in this and allow yourself to be free from all that burden and sticky stuff. Don't need that. Don't need to carry that anymore. Not another second. And here's the thing, when we let go, they find accountability. God brings that to them. But if we're carrying it, then how can God do God's work when we're involved in that? So Teflon. Be Teflon. I am Teflon. Let's do a guided meditation, shall we?